What is going on, guys? My name is Arbuckle. Welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk to you guys about sensitivity and the quote-unquote best sensitivity to use when trying to do well on Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Now I want to let you guys know right off the bat that there is no set sensitivity that's going to automatically make you a god at Call of Duty. Everything takes practice, so if you do end up changing your sensitivity by the end of this video, just know that you're going to have to get used to it. It's not just like you set your sensitivity to this number, you're automatically going to be MLG, you're going to be optic nade shot. It's not how it works. But I do want to share with you guys a couple sensitivity levels that are set for different playstyles that will maybe help you do better if you're that type of player. So the first thing I want to talk about is the two different playstyles. The first playstyle is more of a run and gun person. We talked about this in a past video recently. I don't even remember what video it was. But the first one is a run and gun where you're kind of just running around in the spawn. You know, you use a lot of submachine guns and you tend to rush the spawn a lot, play the objective really hardcore. You're always in those gunfights and you're not really worried about your kill death ratio, or maybe you are. You're really competitive and just want to get in there and just run straight to the enemy. You're not worried about dying. And the second playstyle is more of a campy playstyle, not necessarily a quote-unquote camper, but someone who likes to sit back and kind of not just throw their body out for people to just light them up. You might like playing the objective as well, but you're going to play from a defensive standpoint rather than just attack. And yeah, so the first sensitivity I want to talk about is for the attack guy, the guy that just wants to bum rush to spawn with a submachine gun. Now, I want to use the sensitivity scale from 1 to 10. I know that on Black Ops 3 it's like 1 to a million, and on some of the older Call of Duties it's 1 to 15. It's crazy, but I want to use a 1 to 10 scale. Now, when I first started playing Call of Duty, I played on 7 all the time. It was always 7 or 8, and now I play on more of a 3 or 4 sensitivity, and I've gotten so much better at the game. But that aside, I want to talk about that in a second. The first sensitivity that I recommend for rushing, running, and gunning is a higher sensitivity. Normally I would recommend like 7 or 8. A lot of people play on like 9 or 10. For those of you that can do that, you're an absolute legend. But the higher sensitivity tends to work a lot better when running into spawns and rushing around. Generally, because when you're doing that, you tend to have a lot of close quarters combat. Like you're always running into somebody. You're always having to turn around really quick. If someone jumps over top of you or beside you, you have to turn around and shoot them really quick. You've always got these really close quarters combat situations where you have to be able to move really quick and just take people out. You got to have really good reflexes, and that's why the high sensitivity works. When you really think about it, if you run into a spawn with like a 3 sensitivity and people are running all around you, you're not going to have a lot of time to be able to turn around really slow and shoot them and do all that jazz. So that's why the higher sensitivity really tends to work really well when running and gunning and just bum rushing spawn all the time. Now, for my play style, and this is what I was talking about a second ago, and this is what a lot of people tend to do, is play at more of a defensive standpoint, not necessarily, again, a quote-unquote camper, but someone that doesn't like just throwing bodies at the other team. And that I would recommend a 3 or a 4. Now, like I said, I used to be someone who would just rush around, and I still really do a lot. But I had bumped down my sensitivity from like a 7 or 8 down to a 3 or a 4, and what that really does is it increases your ability to aim and not lose like focus of who you're shooting at. A lot of times, if you run a high sensitivity and you're pretty decently far away from someone, you don't have to be across the map, but someone that's mid-range, if you're on a really high sensitivity, it's kind of hard to keep your gun unless you're an absolute pro from shaking it all. And when it comes to Call of Duty, every shot matters, so you have to get every single bullet to land. And when you're running a low sensitivity, it's a lot easier, especially with submachine guns. What I was doing with the Kuda is I was shooting people across the map with that gun, just running a long barrel, and because of my low sensitivity, I was able to take people out. Now, the only downfall is, especially for me, is if you're running around in their spawn on a 3 or 4 sensitivity, there's a lot of times when people are going to be able to kill you because they're moving a lot quicker than you are. If someone runs past you, you're not able to turn around as quick as they are, and they're definitely, obviously, going to get you first. So that is the downfall. But long story short, if you're going to rush around, if you're going to be someone who loves like bum rushing, like if, for example, demolition, if you want to run and plant bombs, if you want to just run into the spawn and try to kill as many people as possible, a higher sensitivity is going to be the way to go. If you want to be more of a defensive person, someone that's kind of just chilling mid-range, then a lower sensitivity is going to be the way to go. And I know this seems pretty obvious, but I know that nowadays there's a lot of people that play Call of Duty that weren't necessarily here back in COD 4, back in World at War, and yeah, so hopefully this will help some of you guys out. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see all you guys in the next video.